Hello, this is Lipscomb again. So today I am going to be showing you how to make a crochet rainbow, a bit like the ones that you might see around the school that I made. And in your little Christmas gift I have given you enough yarn to make one of these rainbows. So today I am using a 5mm hook. You can obviously use a bigger hook. The only trouble with that will be that I've given you enough yarn to make a rainbow with a 5mm hook. So if you want to make one with a larger hook, that's absolutely fine, but you will need, you might need more yarn. Of course you could go smaller as well. So I'm using some chunky yarn. I've taken the label off, but this is Stylecraft, and I think this is called Fuchsia, the shade. So I'm just going to get straight into it. So the very first thing that we need to do, basically to make a rainbow, you're going to make a big circle, then fold it in half. The very first thing that we need to do is we need to either make a magic circle or chain 4 and join. So I'll show you how to do both of those. I prefer a magic circle because you can make it a bit tighter in the middle. So to make a magic circle, I cross the yarn over my fingers like this, in like a cross shape. I hook my hook underneath the bottom piece of yarn. I grab the top piece of yarn and twist and pull it through underneath the cross. I then go back over and I grab the other top piece, the like tail bit up here, and I pull that through the loop that I made on my hook. I have made a video on how to do a magic circle, so if this was a bit fast, then go and check that one out. So that is how to do a magic circle, and that's how we can start. Or you can chain, so slip knot on your hook, and then chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you made like a little line, and then just slip stitch into the first chain that you made. So into there, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the stitch on your hook. And then what you'll have is a circle here to make all your stitches into. I'm going to go with this just because it's on my hook now. So I'm going to release myself a bit more yarn. So basically with the first colour, and you don't have to make a traditional rainbow, but that is the colours that I've given you and the colours that we're going to go for today. So you go for the first colour, which is going to make the centre of your rainbow, so the smallest arc on your rainbow. Now if you are doing your chain 4 and join method, be careful not to go into that hole there. Can you see? You want to go into that hole in the middle. So what we're going to do, first of all, we're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we are going to make 11 double crochets into the centre, so that bit there, not that bit, this bit. I'm going to make 11 double crochets. So 1, 2, tail out the way, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So what you should have there is a chain 2 and then 11 double crochets. That one's got a bit baggy, but it doesn't matter for now. Now, the reason I prefer the magic circle is because at this stage, what you would be able to do with a magic circle is to pull this tail yarn as tight as you can, and it closes the circle. Now, it does close the circle slightly when you chain 4 and join, but you do still have a little circle in the middle. That would be a bit of a problem if you were making something like a hat that didn't have a bobble on top, because then you'd have a tiny little hole at the top, which I personally don't like, but it's a perfectly fine method to use to make a circle for this rainbow, because ultimately this is all going to be folded in half at the end. So that is our first colour. Now what we're going to do is we are going to, remember at the beginning of this round we made 2 chain stitches, so 1, 2. At the top here, can you see there? So we've got chain 1, chain 2. At the top here, we are going to go in and make a slip stitch. So pull through and pull through the hook on your the loop on your hook. That is round 1 of your rainbow. And what we're going to do now is we're going to pull the yarn through, get your scissors and cut. So you've detached it from the pink ball and you can pull it through, so you've got yourself a circle. So that is free now. Okay, I'm just going to pause to grab my next colour and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, my next colour, the light isn't showing this very well, but this is like quite a deep purple colour. Looks kind of brown on the camera, but I promise it's purple. So I also know that the middle of a rainbow isn't traditionally pink, but I like it like this, so that's what you've got. So what you're going to do now is we are going to join at any point around here our next colour. Now, just because we're going to fold it in half, I like to keep all of my joins along the same line so that when you fold it in half, any bits that are a little bit lumpy kind of get folded at the same point rather than having lumpy bits all around your rainbow. So because we left off here, I'm going to join opposite. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go into this stitch here, about the opposite one. So I guess like 5, 6 round. I've put my hook in. I'm going to take my new yarn and I am going to start working with this. So I've draped my yarn over, I've got my working tail underneath, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my 2 chain stitches. 1, 2. Okay, so I've got 1, 2 chain stitches, and you're going to do that at the start of every round. Even if you kept the same colour, you would still do your chain 2 stitches, but it's quite a nice way of joining the next colour yarn. And what we're going to do on this round, this chain 2 is going to count as 1 double crochet. In each stitch all the way around, we're going to make 2 double crochets. So counting that chain 2 as 1, that's my second one in that stitch. And then we're going to go into the next one, do 2 in there. And you're going to do 2 double crochets all the way around till you get to here. I'm going to pause and come back when I've finished that and I'll show you how to join. I'm actually not quite finished, but I've got to the point where I left off with my pink yarn. Now you can see that that hole will get bigger and bigger unless you just pull it tighter. Careful not to pull it too tight, otherwise you won't be able to get your hook into that stitch. So the stitch is here. Okay, so we're going to yarn over and we're going to go into that stitch, and they can be a little bit awkward to go into. That's why I've just undone that one. That's why I said about trying to keep them all in one line, because sometimes it can look a little bit messy if you're looking really carefully. So I've done 1 double crochet into there, and now I'm doing 2 into there, and that's that. I've just overcome that part. Okay, I'm going to pause again and meet you back round the other side. Okay, I've done 2 double crochets in every stitch all the way around, and I've got back to the beginning again. So careful not to start crocheting up here like some of you tend to in our lessons. You're stopping here, so there's still a gap. It's actually easier to see when you've got 2 different colours of yarn. So there is not a join between these 2, but I've filled all of the stitches. Now what we're going to do again, so this stitch can go a little bit baggy at the start because it's from a new piece of yarn. What we're going to do again is we're going to count our 1, 2 chain stitches and slip stitch into the top of the first stitch that you made. Pull it through 2. Okay, so we've done 2 rounds, and what we're going to do now is we're going to pull that yarn so you've got a nice big loop, and then cut, and then, sorry, that's my dishwasher if you can hear that in the background. I've got this here where I've done 2 rounds of my rainbow. Okay, I'm just going to grab the next colour. Okay, the next colour is blue. These colours are coming up a bit dull on this camera, but they're actually really nice and bright. So what we're going to do again, this time I left off here, so I'm going to go over the other side, about opposite, doesn't have to be exact, and go into there. And what you'll notice is that's near to where you left off of the pink round. So same thing again, draping my yarn over, come on camera, focus, there we go, draping my yarn over, I'm going to pull through and then chain 2, 1, 2, and again that counts as the first stitch. And on this round, what you're going to do is you're going to do 1 double crochet in one stitch, 2 double crochet in the next stitch, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, all the way around until you get to the last stitch. So that's my 1 double crochet. Excuse me. In the next stitch, I'm going to do 2 double crochet. In the next stitch, I'm going to do 1. In the next stitch, I'll do 2. And in the next stitch, I'm going to do 1. And so on. So you do that all the way around. Can you see? I've done 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Next one is going to be 2, and so on. I'll pause and come back when I get to here, show you what to do next. Okay, I'm back around the other side, and I'm ending on 2 double crochets into this stitch, because then we start back on our chain 2, which counted as 1 double crochet. There we go. So, same thing again. We're going to count our 2 chains, so 1, 2, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of, oh, missed that, slip stitch into the top of the first stitch there. Sorry, I've come up for camera. I'm trying to look through the camera and also what I'm doing, and I'm getting a bit jumbled. There we go. And just like we did before, we're going to pull it through, snip, pull the yarn through, and now we've got 3 rounds. So you can see if you fold it in half, you've got the start of a little rainbow. Just going to pause and grab the next colour. So I've got the next colour, which is our green. So again, about opposite, I'm going to go, oh sorry, about opposite the where we left off with the last one, I'm going to join my green. So I'm going to go into here, position it in my hand again, and we're going to pull through the stitch and then chain 2, just like I did before. Now this round we are going to, this acts as 1 double crochet. In the next stitch we're going to do 1 double crochet, and in the next stitch we're going to do 2 double crochet. So on this round you're doing 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So next we're going to do 1, in the next one we're going to do 1, and in the next one we're going to do 2. And we are going to repeat that pattern all the way around. So 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, all the way around until we get to here. I'll pause again and meet you round at this point here, okay? Okay, so I'm back around here. I'm about to do my last stitches. So I've just done 1, 1, and then I'm going to do 2 in that last stitch. 1, 2. Okay, so again, you count 1, 2, and then you slip stitch into the top of the first stitch and pull through. And again, I'm going to pull the yarn a little way through and snip and just pull the yarn all the way through, and you'll see that we've now got 4 rounds. So on the back here, all of these yarn tails are roughly in a line, and what that means is when we fold it this way, all of the bobbly bits, if there are any, are kind of like on the seam, so you don't really see them. If you do it this way, you might see where you've joined. Sometimes it's more obvious than others, and sometimes in certain lights you can see it. Just the way I prefer to do it. So I'm going to pause again and I will find my next colour. Next is yellow, my favourite colour. Okay, so again we're going opposite approximately, so about there. I'm going to start and join in this hole here, and you might have noticed a little bit of a pattern emerging. So again, we're going to pull through the first stitch and chain 1 and 2. That acts as our first stitch, our first double crochet. So in the last round we did 1, 1, 2. Yep. This time we're going to go 1, 1, 1, 2. So we've done 1 double crochet. In the next one we're going to do 1 double crochet, and in the next one we're going to do 1 double crochet, and then in the next one we're going to do 2 double crochets. So 1, 2. So the pattern is 1, 1, 1, 2 on this round. Okay, so I'll do another round of it. So we've got 1, 1, 1 and 2. So we're doing that all the way around until you get back here. So 1, 1, 1, 2, and then I'll show you how to join again and what to do on the next round, although I bet you can guess. Okay, back round to the other side. And I'm going to finish my last stitches in there. So I've just done 1, 1, 1, and I'm going to do 2 into my last stitch. So 1, 2, same as last time. I'm going to count my chains. So we've got 1, 2, and I'm going into the top of my first stitch there and putting my hook in, pulling through and pulling through the loop on my hook. And now I have got 5 rounds of my rainbow. So again, pull it out, snip, and pull, tail through. So there we go. You can fold it just to check what it looks like. Nice little rainbow so far. And I'll just go and grab my orange. Right, back with orange. So again, just like we've done before, about opposite. I'm going to go into that hook, that stitch there. Attach my yarn by going through the stitch, so yarning over and pulling through, and then chaining 2 to act as my first double crochet. You might be able to guess what we do now. So this time we're going to do 1, which is this one, 1, 1, 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 into this one. 1, 2. So the pattern for this round is 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Let's do that on the next lot. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. And I'm going to carry on all the way around. I was just double checking there that I'd done the right thing. All the way around until I get here, and then I'll join the last colour. Okay, back round here. In my last stitch, I'm going to do 2 double crochet to complete my pattern. And then, same as before, you count your 1, 2 chain and join at the top of the first stitch. So pull through and pull through the loop. And just like before, loosen a bit, snip, and we have got a rainbow with 5 rings. So now I'm just going to grab my red and I'll show you the final round. Okay, final round. So we're going opposite where we left off, approximately, so about there. Pop the hook in, and then we're going to attach our red, so exactly like before. Pull through your stitch and chain 2. 1, 2. And you will probably have guessed what we do on this round. So we're going to do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. 5 lots of 1 and then a 2. So that acts as our first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, got a bit baggy. Drop my tension there. So that's 5 lots of 1 and then 2 in this stitch here. 1, 2. Show that one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, and you're going to do that all the way around until you get to here, and then I'll show you how to fix your rainbow together. So again, right back round to where I started, and I'm ending on 2 double crochet into that stitch. And just like with all the previous rounds, you're counting 1, 2 chains and doing a slip stitch into the top of the first stitch. Now, the difference with this round is that you don't pull and snip, because we are going to need to stay attached to this red yarn. I'll show you why in a second. You can pull and take your hook out, because we need to do something before we start sewing the edge up, or slip stitching the edge up. Now, you don't have to do this, but I like to, just so that I know nothing is going to come undone. So what I do, you don't have to sew any of these ends in, which is nice. What I do is I just knot them together. Now, you don't want to do it so tight that the rainbow puckers, but I'm just going to tie those orange ends together like that, the greens together like that, and we've got bubbles, pink, it's like in a double knot, that's all you need. Back to our blue over here, yellow. Now, because you are attached to one part of the red still, this red doesn't have a partner, so all I do is just tie it to one of the other colours, whatever's nearest. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut all of these tails off. Because you've secured the knot, it will not come undone, I promise. So you're going to snip, and you're going to cut all of these away. I'm actually not going to do that, because I just remembered that I need to unravel this rainbow in a second, because I need to see exactly how much yarn I need to give you all. But imagine that all of those ends have been snipped. Now, you don't actually have to snip them. If you wanted, you can keep them in there. I like to snip them because I like my rainbows to be flat. Now, I'm just going to grab one more thing that we need, and then I will show you what to do next. Okay, I'm back. So, something I forgot to mention at the beginning that you need is a pencil or a pen and a piece of cardboard. Now, it's a good time of year for the cardboard, because I'm sure there's been parcels arriving in your house from various places. So see if you can try and take some of the cardboard that would otherwise just go in the recycling. So basically, you're going to need a piece of cardboard to go into the middle of your rainbow to keep it nice and stiff. Now, the ones I made in school, do you remember I said they've gone a bit floppy because I used like quite thin cardboard, which was a bit of a mistake, but also they've been trapped indoors and all sorts, so hopefully yours won't end up like that. So what you're going to do is you're going to just very roughly draw around the shape of your rainbow, and you are going to cut that out, but going on the inside of the line that you made, because you actually need this arc, oh, it's a horrible sound, I'm sorry, to be a little bit smaller than your actual rainbow. And what I like to do is just nip the corners inwards like this, otherwise you sometimes get sticky out corners on the edges. Now, I've cut that out. I'm going to just check that it fits. It's still a bit big, so I'm just going to trim this down, and you might have to experiment a bit to get the right size. Nearly there, still a bit tall. I reckon that'll be okay. Yep, perfect. So you can see it kind of goes, so you can see like the red, some of the red round on the outside. Now, what you're going to do, I usually take this out because it's hard to crochet with that inside it, so we're going to use that in just a second. What we're going to do, remember all your ends will be tucked in because they're not tucked in, sorry, out of the way because you'll have trimmed them. You are going to insert your hook into your loop that you extended, and you are going to slip stitch all the way around these edges, and you're going to sew with your crochet hook these edges together. You could use a tapestry needle, but I prefer to do it like this. So the way we do that is I usually like to, depends how much slack I've got here, I usually like to chain one just to give myself a bit of a turn here. You're going to go through the first stitch on one side and the first stitch on the other side. So on your hook, if my camera will focus, you have got loads of loops here. You're going to yarn over and you are going to pull through all of those loops, and it can take a bit of wiggling on the first round, on the first go, sorry. So we've done that in the first stitch. We're going to go to the next stitch, pull through and pull through the loop on my hook, and in this next stitch yarn over, pull through and pull through, and you're going to do that all the way around until you get to the other side. Okay, I will pause, and when I've got to about here, I will stop and I'll show you what to do next. Okay, so sorry, my camera keeps going out of focus, very annoying. So remember, we weren't using the cardboard in there yet. What we're going to do now is I've just extended my loop there just so that it doesn't start unravelling. I've got to about, just before 2/3 of the way around, and I'm going to just gently wiggle my cardboard into my rainbow. Now, this bit can be a little bit trickier because it's a bit bulkier to hold, but all you're going to do is exactly what you were doing before, which is just slip stitching the two layers together. So we're going to go into, come on camera, focus, there we go, we're going to go into the first layer, into the second layer, yarn over, pull through and pull through the loop on your hook, and you're going to do that all the way along. Like I said, you could, if you wanted to, just use a tapestry needle with your red yarn and sew this up, but I just prefer the finish of the slip stitch. It's completely up to you, whatever you find easier or neater or quicker or whatever. So we're doing that all the way along until, oh, I didn't go through both sides there, until you get to that last bit. Pull it, and there you go, you've got your finished rainbow. So what you'll do is pull your loop out again. Oh, those scissors are blunt. Use my sewing ones. Snip. And pull the yarn through. And what you've got there is your rainbow. Now, what you can do, there's a couple of things that you could do, and I will show you the alternatives in a second. I have made rainbows which just look like this, and I've attached like some chain up here. So if you just start a slip knot, and then just chain, I don't know, like 30, and then just sew one end here, one end there, and it makes a loop. You just leave it like that, or you can attach some tassels to the bottom here with white yarn. I've not given you that, but you could use some white yarn that you've got at home. Or you can make yourself some little pom-poms to go on the bottom. I'll show you both those alternatives. All right, remember I said that everyone's got to start somewhere. This was the second thing I ever made. So this rainbow was, I was very proud of this. And I did like a reverse rainbow. It actually started out life as a hat, but I quickly realised that it was going to be a hat for someone with an enormous head. So I folded it in half and I made a rainbow with it. And then I made these pom-poms, which now I'm a little bit frightened might just disintegrate if I touch them. But whatever. There we go. So that was the second thing that I ever made. This little rainbow. It lives on my bookshelf to remind me everyone has to start somewhere. And then these are some of the rainbows that I make. So this is a nice blue one, and these are the tassels that I'm talking about. So you just pull them through the bottom loops and make like a loop knot. And this was the chain I was talking about. So if you just chain, I don't know, 25, 30, it could be as long or as short as you want. And then just pull the yarn out just to finish it. And then just use the tails just to sew in here and here, and then it'll hang up. So yeah, this one lives over in one corner of my lounge. This is my husband's because he likes the blue one. And then this one lives on my little bookshelf just because it's nice and colourful. So yeah, things don't have to be perfect to be special, do they? So yeah, this little rainbow here, I'm actually about to pull apart so that I know exactly how much yarn I need to give you of each of the colours. But yeah, hopefully you will be able to follow this tutorial and make yourself a little rainbow. Maybe you can make one as a gift for someone. The last thing that you need to do is just sew this end in. So just loop it round one of the loops here, tie it in a nice knot, and then just weave it in using a tapestry needle, poke it through and snip it, and then the end gets hidden. Yeah, that's it. So I would love to see how you get on, and I can't wait to resume our lovely lessons in January. Happy Christmas, everyone, and I'll see you soon.